Live. Oh, I'm going to change our pictures. Hey, everybody, we're live. Woo! It's like magic.
Wow, special effects.
You like that? It's like, woo. Aaron, Chuck, and Greg back again. Aaron, we got to start right off because last night, I'm going to bed. It's like 11 o'clock, and an email comes in, and the government has filed a motion to dismiss in our Ben Jabor DV2022 case. So tell us your take on this 300-page filing by the Department of State.
Well, we knew it was coming. We knew a motion to dismiss is coming, so that's not a surprise. What this does is lock in our response time, so we have 14 days to respond. As far as my take on the filing, like you said, it's almost 300 pages. I'm still working my way through it, so I'm not quite ready for conclusions on it yet. But I'm happy because I like cases to be moving along, and this is part of a case moving along. We know they're going to file a motion to dismiss. We know we got to respond. After we get the response in, then we'll get the PI filed. What it does do is it probably bounces back our motion for a preliminary injunction by a few weeks because we need to focus on getting this responded to. But no, I'm glad it's filed. The case is moving, and also glad to see that it includes a representation that many of our clients, many of our plaintiffs have been scheduled for interviews. So that's a good thing.
Well, there's a couple of really interesting things in here. One is a declaration from our buddy Morgan Miles, who runs the Kentucky Consular Center, with actually probably the most detailed explanation about what they do as part of this process. And he attached to his declaration, we have 71 plaintiffs, a status of every one of our plaintiffs. And we're excited to point out that it looks like about half of our plaintiffs so far have either been interviewed or are scheduled for interview before the 22nd of June. We've had a number that have already been processed, and that's pretty good. Now, I will tell you, the biggest chunk of people, we've had Russians being processed in Warsaw because we have a lot of Russian clients as part of this process. And there had been, there's one, we're still looking for Yerevan. It looks like our Europe ones have basically done. Our Taiwan ones will be basically done by the end of the month, except for a couple. So this is actually really good news because this gives us a really great update. Here's the better news about that, Aaron. The government knows who you are, plaintiffs. They are tracking your cases. That is a good thing. That's a good thing. So that leaves us also 3 months still to get the rest of our clients processed. Now, keep in mind, historically, more than 70% of DVs are issued in the third and fourth quarters, historically.
So my question to you guys is for your take on whether you think that they're trying to do something like in the Kang case, where to eventually get to the point where they can try and get the judge to dismiss everything because the plaintiffs have all been scheduled for interviews or are finished. Do you think that's their strategy, or they're not that organized? No,
well, they clearly are coming after us on track factors and whether you have standing. They got the whole kitchen sink in this. This is all the motions to dismiss they've ever filed, all put into one.
Right, I understand that, but it's still it was effective for them in the EAD case.
Oh yeah, well I think they clearly are making an effort, which is why you sue.
For our plaintiffs, I suppose that it's not going to make these other cases are going to have to get filed then probably.
Listen, I think they are making an effort. And I do think that, like Chuck said, if I were a plaintiff, I'm happy that I'm on their spreadsheets being tracked and that people are checking on my case. I do think that even more broadly, the litigation is making them make an effort for DV2022. So our litigation, any other suits that are out there, because they know what's happened the last few years, and they know what the numbers looked like earlier this year. And I think that they are making an effort. That's good. They're still going to waste way too many visas. And so we're still going to push
Well,
forward.
I do want to, I want to talk about this chart because actually they have a key. There's a key to this chart. And it looks like almost every one of our plaintiffs has either been scheduled, already been interviewed, been scheduled, or has been allocated a number ready to be scheduled. So that is almost everybody. There's probably I'd say there's about 8, maybe 10 of our 71 plaintiffs who are still in the quality check of the DS-260. But everybody else has either been scheduled or allocated to be scheduled for appointments.
Good
That
news.
is, I mean, honestly, that's mucho bueno, as they say in the old
No,
country.
I don't know that people would know that though. I'm not sure that people would have gotten any kind of notice about that.
No, they would not have. They,
Yeah.
and we're not publishing this. We're not putting this up there. Nobody's going to see this but us because it's got private information in it. But obviously, if plaintiffs want to reach out to us, we will tell you what's on the sheet as far as if you haven't been interviewed yet, where you are.
We'll tell you where. We'll tell you where you are. We won't share with you where.
Yeah, we will not share where everybody else is. Okay. And yeah, I'm looking at this, and this is actually is really, really good news for our plaintiffs.
It's much more granular detail than we've ever gotten in the past.
Seen this. Yeah, we've never seen this before.
Yeah.
Well, it also helps not to have 900 plaintiffs, but a little bit easier for the government to track. This is great news, though. This is great news. Super excited about that. All right. I should have put up that we were talking about DV 2022. I feel really bad that I didn't do that. So if you're just seeing this note now, go back and listen to what we just said. All right. It's before. But we do also, Aaron, we need to talk about another piece of litigation that just came down. This is the Go case. The government just filed, was it Friday night at 11:50? Their brief. They're very long, painful to read brief.
Yeah, so this is the DV 2021 case on appeal. It's been consolidated with a number of other cases. And, I think these issues, for the most part, Chuck and Greg, throughout all these cases over multiple years, they've just been briefed into the ground. And so it's just, why?
I was going to ask you, because Chuck sent the link around this morning to the on the DV 2022 and on this one as well. But so I haven't had a good look at it yet. But have you seen anything new? Like any new argument that you haven't seen before?
Well, here's what they're doing now. They're saying, well, these other judges denied relief. That's what they're saying. It's like, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it's so. Okay.
Yeah, you want to be one of the in crowd.
The good news is the Seventh Circuit came out recently, like last Friday, and while they didn't give relief, they clearly indicated that, hey, you can reserve visas for the end of the year, but if you don't do that, you've got no case.
Right.
That's extraordinarily powerful. That'll be in our reply brief. I was actually going through because in the Go case, obviously, we have an appeal. We're the only people who have appeal. The government, in their response to our opening brief on our appeal, said, good luck didn't appeal. That's their defense. Good luck didn't appeal for numbers. They didn't care about the math. It's like, so how is that a defense?
Not our case.
And basically I think they even said this. Plaintiffs didn't like the math.
Accurate.
It's accurate, and it's because the math is wrong. I mean, it's just wrong. And it's wrong because they tried to justify the math. Our
section on the section that addresses our cross appeal, it's not long. It's probably 3-4 pages.
It's longer than our appeal, though. Our opening brief, though.
Yeah. Well, we had some constrictions on.
Yeah, we did. We had like 2 pages to write it.
But it's not long. But it's I emailed Chuck and Greg and the rest of the team right when we got it, and just told them that I was confused by it. I read it late at night, and I thought maybe I didn't understand it, and I read it since then, and I'm still having trouble understanding it. So they don't like that that visas were reserved at all, and they keep saying that.
Over
they
and
say
over
that
and
actually,
over and over again.
Yeah.
But if they are reserved, they like the math.
Well, no, they say
No.
actually it should be fewer. They
It's
come up with
fewer.
a
The
new
judges-
formula.
They don't like the math
They
either.
don't like math either.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting because if you guys remember, Judge Mehta, before he issued the order on this, I think 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 times he ordered the government, hey, put forth your suggestions. If I'm going to reserve visas, what's the formula I should use? Please, I want your input.
They said, no way.
They refused.
We're not conceding. We're not even going to concede the possibility.
Yeah, they wouldn't even talk about it in the alternative. And then now to come forward at the appellate stage and say, well, actually, we have better formulas.
I don't think you get to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it works.
So anyway, we do have a reply to that's due on the 19th, which we'll be working on to again argue for more visas being issued, and we will get that filed.
Yeah, the rest of the brief is just the standard arguments that they've just been making back and forth. There's nothing spectacular in there. The timing on this, of course, it'll be fully briefed. Ours will be the last brief on this. The Gomez plaintiffs, the Good Luck plaintiffs, they're done briefing. So ours is the last word, so to speak. And then it's just the question is, are they going to set oral argument? Which I can't imagine they don't. I mean,
yeah,
this is complicated for people who don't know what it is. When that's going to be. It's not going to be in August because DC is closed in August. Highly unlikely it's going to be in July.
I think it's September.
And it's got to be September. I mean, or later. So that means no decision in this case until DV2023 is active on this.
And they just started getting their notifications this week. Can I give a little side editorial?
Yes, please.
All right. So I started filing the Uniting for Ukraine. The program opened up on April 25th. I started getting approvals yesterday for cases that were filed 13 days ago or so, and supposedly they've gone through background clearances. They've already gone, their sponsors have been cleared, and supposedly the sponsors have already gone through a background check. These people are now cleared to get on airplanes and show up at CBP with the piece of paper that USCIS is providing. 13 days is all for these.
I guess anything's possible if you're not adjudicating work cards.
So, I mean, when there is an interest in moving things quickly and getting people to the U.S. quickly, and they don't even have deadlines in those cases, but there was an interest in moving them quickly because they know that's really popular, they could do it.
Now, Greg, you have a suggestion. If you are Ukrainian and you win the DV2023 lottery, what is your?
Yeah, so I heard from somebody who won the lottery yesterday, or got notified yesterday about DV2023 Ukrainian that is now currently in Poland, I think. Anyway, I told her, get over to the U.S. on Uniting for Ukraine. That's working pretty fast. And then file for adjustment of status and bypass the State Department. Adjustment cases, we have not had nearly the same level of problems as the people that have been applying for consular processing for DV cases. So that's my suggestion if you're in that situation.
Awesome suggestion. All right. We needed to talk about, we also got from our friends in the Ramirez litigation, this is the Manila K-1 Manila case, a motion for reconsideration of the judge's denial of the motion to dismiss. And Aaron, you submitted a extraordinarily well done response to that. It's once again back in front of the judge. Well, what's the government want? What's their problem?
Yeah, they want the case dismissed, and they say that they
didn't really make any new arguments. They told the judge that it's just decision. He just needs to rethink. I mean, essentially, it's what it is.
Think better. Think better, Judge.
I mean, there's nothing that's the judge is it's like I never really considered that issue before. I mean, it's basically just rehashing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the most part. And I mean, Zach New in our office put together a response, and he did a really thoughtful job about the standards and why it should only be done where justice requires, and there's no reason to think that justice requires this, and that everything that they're saying would be better addressed in the summary judgment phase. So basically what they're saying is the guidance, so the judge had narrowed the issues at the motion to dismiss. And he said what we're going forward with on this case is whether they violated their own guidance. That's what he wants to hear about.
Yeah.
And so the government says, well, actually, now that guidance has been rescinded since their briefing on the motion to dismiss. And since it's rescinded, you should just dismiss the case because the things you wanted to compare it to are gone. And Zach put together a really thoughtful response saying, you know what? No, the harm from the failure to follow their guidance remains. Yeah. The delay remains, and the harm is ongoing. And a lot of the stuff they're saying, they can address it summary judgment if they want to. So,
yeah, they do not want to give us discovery in this case. I think that's why they're fighting so hard. They do not want to let us know what the hell is really going on in Manila as part of it. Let's see, Greg, have you had any more reports on H1B usage at your firm? You hearing anything out of DC about numbers as far as applications being filed?
No, I mean, I haven't heard.
Neither have I. I will tell you that, we have X number that we filed. I mean, you guys all, we all won part of the lottery for our clients. Those applications are all in.
Right.
Not like, I'm going to wait until June to file my application. So CIS is being very close-lipped about the action, other than their initial statement that they were not seeing the numbers they anticipated. So I remain confident that will be another lottery coming up here in July. I just hope they don't wait till the end of July to do it.
Well, I mean, just to reiterate on that, it's like almost it's a pretty much a lock that there will have to be, because we saw about a 50, 40, 50, I forget what the percentage increase was year on year, but
like
it was
45%, some crazy number like that.
Only in the regular filings.
Right.
And the advanced degree filings were completely flat. So that tells me that excess is just basically has nothing to do with the economy, because we would expect if it was the economy and there were just a lot more offers out there, legitimate H1B offers, that both caps would be in greater demand, but we didn't see that. So I'm guessing that we probably have the same number of people roughly that filed, just a lot more applications by that same number of people. So I don't see how you avoid a second or probably a third or even a fourth lottery.
We were supposed to hear in May changes to the program per the January information that was shared with us, but doesn't look like anything's happening in May because they're doing all the United for Ukraine work.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this issue is not over. If we see I think that the USCIS would be wise to declare another lottery sooner, or at least let people know that that's going to happen sooner, because if they should have a pretty good idea based on the pace of filings already what the numbers are going to look like. But
because clearly nobody's really waiting till June to file their, hey, you won the lottery.
Right.
April.
They know.
On the H1B wastage, by the end of this, probably the end of this month, we'll have the stuff up on our website about, because we've run the numbers. They're not going to come close.
Yeah, we're working on that here.
So just keep in mind, we'll just stay tuned. Probably next week. By the way, I'll be here next week, but the following week I will not be available. So on our EB5 litigation, that is been filed. Government has beginning to enter their appearance in those cases. With several of our clients have already been interviewed for their applications. That government's been served. So we'll be reaching out to the government and see how they want to handle this process.
By the way, I mean, Chuck knows about it, but just to let people that are watching know that our co-counsel, Matt Galati, won a big award for the American Immigration Lawyers Association yesterday, the outstanding young lawyer in the country. So I want to congratulate him. If he's probably not watching, but he knows we're all real excited for him. So, and I haven't mentioned anything about our.
No, not yet. But I will tell you.
Are we holding our news close to the vest on that, or are we waiting?
I think we can announce it because it's up online by immigration, by AILA.
Why don't you tell people what the news is?
So we were nominated by some dear friends for AILA's award for litigation as part of the Impact Litigation team. And Ayla said that you are the guys, the gals. What
We,
you put
we-
together is
Is there
effective.
an annual big award for to award somebody for litigation? Hopefully, litigation success, but just
Yeah,
litigation.
well, it's been successful so far for the most part. So, but what's happened is results. That's the key, is results. And we're we're grateful to Ayla for that and what they've done for us.
That's a real nice honor for our
And that's because Aaron and Greg are
litigation
awesome.
team.
And we have amazing teams. It's not just, you see us here, but you don't see behind the scenes. We have just amazing teams here of just great lawyers that are just doing remarkable work. And we're just so proud of them and grateful for the efforts they put in for our clients. That the award that Matt won, I won a long time ago.
I can't imagine you winning a young lawyer.
I know. I was a young lawyer once, right? I try to remember the year. It was in Seattle. Whenever we were in Seattle.
Oh, I was at that.
Was that like 90?
94, 96.
95?
It was mid-90s.
It was a long time ago. So good to see they're still doing that. So we got the EB5 litigation. Let's go ahead and answer some questions today. Let's see. Joe is back. I'm DV2021 away for his DV2021 friend. Need I marry her for the quickest way to arrive? Well, first of all, when you're speaking of the word marriage in immigration context, the key to remember is bona fide marriage. Bona fide. That means it's a real marriage. It is not a marriage of convenience, Joe. So if you are in love with your DV 2022 friend and cannot stand being apart from her, then obviously
this is what I always tell people, because sometimes I said it can affect the timing. You can marry somebody. Immigration can be a reason. It just can't be the
reason. Yeah. So, but if you're in love, that's the best way to do it. But it just depends on where she is in the litigation. If she's in litigation or not in litigation, where she's from, just depends. All right. Saladin Hashimi, any good news? Good news or no news? So far you're still winning. That's the good news. You're still winning. Roroma, I am not among those scheduled, but I am hopeful. My DS has been finally processed. I don't know who Roroma is, and I'm not going to talk.
I think they're DV 2022.
Yeah, but if they're one of our plaintiffs, they should email us, because I think the information that you get online may be behind the information that we have here. Suvi, did they give information? What is our place in the process queue? No, they don't. They didn't have a queue, because obviously each consulate is different. But if we have other plaintiffs,
they give information on the stage.
Yeah, they have a stage. They have by post the processing, your appointment date, and when you became current, because it's also about currency. When did your number become current? So we've got all those laid out, and we can, give you, again, reach out to us. We can give you those details apart. Will you share the chart with plaintiffs? We will not share the chart with plaintiffs, because it's all the plaintiffs' information on it. And so that's confidential information among the plaintiffs. We will tell you your place on the chart as far as what that means. I think that's a fair way to do that. Ankit Patel, hi guys, I'm DV21 in Nairobi, Kenya. My question is update. No. Well, there's only 9,000 visas left, right? Gomez, there was no appeal for additional visas for 2020. So there's going to be a food fight for the 9,000. Suvi, KC was not processed our DV260s. Again, email us separately and we'll be able to tell you what's going on. Frostman, hope all is well. It's a good thing pressure is having some effect. It's about time of 2 years of miserable fighting. Good things. So I still feel very good about our case. Especially after reading, reading the government's reply to our response to our appeal specifically. It was a slog reading what they wrote. It was, man, this is what? And I thought ours was so crisp and so to the point and so on. I feel very confident about it. Let's see. Greg, you can help me out here.
Let's see. What's the news on the lawsuit for DV20? I write to various embassies. Where is their visa-free entry for citizens of Russia?
What's her name?
Get the name? Sorry, Lena Valikova.
All right. News in a lawsuit, a right to the various embassies are visa-free. So if you are one of our plaintiffs, I can tell you to where you are assigned. But I will simply tell you that, well, I'll just say that every Russian is assigned to Warsaw. every Russian plaintiff is assigned to Warsaw. So
No, that's not quite right. There's some other ones.
I thought that some of the former Soviet.
Oh, you're right. You're right. There are a couple others in Riga. That's right. You're right. A lot of the Russians are in
Yeah.
Almaty. There's one. Yeah. Okay. You're right. They're not most people in Warsaw. So, Stanley, interview may be scheduled later this fiscal year. In the case of assigned for further administrative process being less than 1 2 would you be allowed to reserve visas? Well, again, we asked for reservation of visas for our plaintiffs. This may come down to a September 30 hearing in front of Judge Mehta. I'm going to guess that for our plaintiffs, that Department of State's going to do everything they possibly can to resolve every one of these cases by September 30th, is what I think. So, Joseph, if they're avoiding discovery because they don't want to disclose happening, because they want to explain well, agreed. Why don't they do that? I think it's a thick-headed thing. Manila has a decades-long history of being one of the worst consulates in the world for K-1s, and they're just not going to change. They're just not going to change. You can't make us change. It's literally, I think, out of spite at this point that we're going to do this. All right, tell me, what does lack of jurisdiction dismiss mean? So what the government says is, basically, when you go to federal court, you have to have a valid reason to go to federal court. You have to have a harm that is fixable by the court. You must also be the kind of plaintiff that can be protected from that harm. That is basically jurisdiction. So when the government moves to dismiss or get rid of the case, they're arguing, hey, you're not the right plaintiff for the right claim at the right time in the right court. That's what they're arguing. They make it in every case. I think they're abusing the system at this point. Not every case should have a motion to dismiss, period, end of story. I think it's abuse of the system at this point. All right. Greg, you got to help me with the name here. Is it Andre?
Dimitri.
I was close. I DV2021 case number for DS qualified. It said, why did not schedule an interview for me? Earlier KCC. I think I see Dimitri here on our list, and you are still within that they have processed your DS-260. Okay. Why they're not scheduled, I don't know. But looking at if you're the right Dimitri, you became current April 1, and those are all the group that have not been scheduled. The April 1 current group are the parts not scheduled at this point, for the most part. I was not joking. I said he has total this. We know that. That's true. How to email you? Well, if you're a plaintiff, you get emails from us. You respond to that email. Or you can fill out the online form and we'll update you as well. So you can take care of that. And our last question, any idea how the government will process Go visas? That's, people have asked us this before. Well, it all depends. If we win and we get every plaintiff visas, then everybody will just be processed. If it's a food fight, I don't know. You got me. I don't know how they're going to do it. How did they calculate 291 visas for Go?
This is what we were talking about at the top. They did their own new calculation. They said it should have been 291, and if you've seen that they said that, then you can go through their arguments. It's not, I can't really reproduce them here because I didn't really understand them the first time around, and I'm going to be working on the response to them.
I think it requires knowledge of new math. I think that's going to be in my oral argument. The government's new math version of these numbers makes no sense, Joe.
But listen, Ashim, if we win on the reservation of visas on the bigger issues rather than the number, there is zero chance that they will lower the number of visas reserved. Zero, because they didn't appeal that issue. No, so that's not going to happen. It cannot happen. It's either going to stay the same at 481 or go up if we win the bigger issues.
It's what we would call a red herring. Because there are no red herrings. And so it's a red herring. It says, hey, look here. Look at this. It's completely irrelevant what they did. I can't wait to read what we write on that response to that particular issue. All right, so that's it for today. Great to see you guys. You're totally awesome. Thank you for visiting us here on our Impact Litigation channel. We'll be back next Tuesday. I'll be live tomorrow on Facebook. Aaron, are you still on sabbatical from Facebook? Or you back?
Permanent? No,
Permanent.
no. I'll be. We are going to have one on Thursday. I'm not going to be on it because I am going to be at the ABLE.
Oh, that's right. I'll be seeing you there. And Greg, you're going to be live tomorrow. Or are you heading up to Detroit?
I will not be, and I'm not going to see you guys in Toronto, but a couple of my colleagues will be. I'm going to the American Bar Association meeting in Nashville this week.
Awesome. Oh, Greg, before we go, did you want to mention what's going on in Congress? Nothing on immigration?
The only thing I will tell you is that the America Competes Act, which is probably the most significant immigration bill that's working its way through, is still alive. The immigration provisions. In fact, there's this effort there's this national security effort being pushed right now on the STEM stuff. So I am not giving up hope on that bill on there, but it's it's basically, the good news about that is that if the provisions remain in there in the what they call the conference report, they will pass, because the legislation is must pass legislation, and Republicans are not going to, at the end of the day, vote against it if those provisions are in there. So for right now, they live, and we will see.
I forgot to say something very important. Greg reminded me that when he said he's going to Nashville, Greg, I'm sorry that my Colorado Avalanche destroyed the Nashville Predators 4-0.
It's like we're about to have two of our two playoff hopes for the spring are about to go up in smoke. So
enjoy your Grizzlies,
and the Predators are about to look like the dust. Hopefully, Avalanche were good though. I watched some of and they looked like a championship team.
All right, guys.
See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.